Adolf Eichmann. No, it's not true. John Gallagher. Band is Raven. And our profession is organised chaos. Thank you.
Do you feel that it's gotten easier or more difficult, or neither, to, I guess, go against the grain nowadays than when you were younger, when you were a kid, when you were in your 20s, 30s?
It's just different. It was never easy. I mean, we came from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England, so until the Neat thing happened, the possibility of us being a band and getting a record deal was like next to travelling to Mars. It really was just it's like somebody from Uganda, I'm going to start a band and it's not going to happen. That's the same kind of thing. It was just incredible that we were at kind of the right place or the wrong place at the right time, because the Tigers of Pantang, another local band, just happened to hit up the studio, a local studio that was just doing little records for club bands. We want to do a single, and it was just the right time. And after they did that, they were like, "Oh, I wonder if there's other bands." And the manager asked us, "You want to do a single?" Like, yeah. Man. It just went nuts in the space of like 5 or 6 months.
Right.
We were playing with bands we'd idolised. I mean, to have John Lord and Ian Pace who were playing with Whitesnake walk through the dressing room, "Hey guys, how you doing?" We were like flabbergasted. It's just really hard to take in. So, so that was, we were very lucky with that. And even when we were getting more popular, there was a lot of problems, like we wanted an agency deal, and we were courted by Premier Talent, who was doing, it's Bill Kirbish, practices and that called. It was Barcelona, Frank Barcelona is the main guy who did The Who, and they did Journey, and they did Judas Priest and all this stuff. And the other agent, who had all the heavy metal bands, got miffed and said, "Oh well, you're not touring with any of our bands." So there we were. We got to play with Judas Priest, but otherwise we're just touring by ourselves. So that didn't work out so well. We got signed by basically a disco guy at the label, so the heavy metal guy was PO'd and wanted very little to do with us. So, bad luck all the way down the line with that.
Sure. A lot of my favorite bands got some badass luck over the years. Maybe you recognize this band here.
I don't actually, really.
New York, crossover, Profile Records, Rock Hotel Profile, Destruction also had an album out.
Okay.
That label, Cro-Mags.
But forgive my ignorance. I mean, if that scene, it's bands I've heard of. So the Cro-Mags, was Life of Agony, and I remember the whole fracas of Anthrax trying to patent the hardcore scene, and everyone wanted to burn them at the stake and all that stuff. But it's just like crossover was, to me, it just sounded like punk. Good punk, but it just sounded like punk.
Sure.
It had the attitude and the energy and all the rest of it. And it's like, I was there.
Yeah.
We played with punk bands. We played with Stranglers. We played with Stranglers, and they wouldn't let us use the PA. We had to bring our own PA in, which is insane. We went down really well, came off, they were coming on, and Hugh Cornwell, who was the original guitar player, was, "Anyone got perfect pitch?" I was, "Yeah." He was, "Give me an A." He was, tuned his guitar on, and just walked on the stage and played the set. That's punk.
Yeah.
That's real punk for you right there.
That's great.
But we used to play gigs, and there was a band called the Angelic Upstarts, who used to have this song called "Who Killed Little Towers?" It was the police killed. It was very political. You had a lot of trouble. They used to kick a pig's head around on stage, a real pig's head. Well, their gig got cancelled, and all their fans came to our show on Sunderland. There was like a riot going on in the middle of this. Seeing the sound man fly across the air in front of us. Oh my God! So I got into a fight with punks when we were rehearsing. One tried to steal my guitar, and I ended up hitting him just as the other 10 came around the corner and jumped on me and broke my arm. And so been there, done that.
Political and social issues that you take any kind of interest in or concerned with, things that you, I guess, believe in or, not left or right kind of thing, but
Well,
just
that's the whole thing. I mean, the deeper you look into this, I mean, our drummer Joe's almost to the point of obsession interested in this, but we all are to a degree. It's very evident that a lot of the stuff you see on TV and everything is just like a puppet show. It really is. And there's forces that have been, over many, many, many years, almost like a shadow government type of thing. It's basically the banking industry, and it's like, oh, we'll put these two candidates up. It's two sides of the same coin. It really doesn't matter. And there's a lot of very dark things going on. I mean, you talk about Monsanto. That's like pure freaking evil as far as I'm concerned.
oh yeah,
And then you just start looking back at history. It's like, it's really unfortunate that America is this, myth, as the shining light of democracy, and then you see, unfortunately, a lot of the things that have been done behind the scenes. And then it's something like 9/11 happens, and then people say, hang on a minute, this doesn't smell right. And then there's like massive kickback. You guys are crazy, you're all wearing tin hats. It's like, really? And you look at it logically, and you look at some of the stuff, you come across anomalies that cannot be explained, and it's really scary. It's really scary, because it's like, if this is real, what about all them other crazy stories I've heard? And if all the other crazy stories are real, man, we're screwed.
yeah.
And it's really horrifying. You read, there's an alien base in Dulce, New Mexico, with 17 levels, and that's all bullshit. But is it?
Right.
Like, where there's so much smoke,
Yeah.
there's fire somewhere. From what would be the real crazy end of things,
Sure.
to saying, Building 7 at the World Trade Center went down for no reason.
Yeah.
Why? What was in the building? Very interesting financial records. The Pentagon got hit by something, and if you look at the photos, a couple of 100 yards down, there's a huge fire going on. Where was the fire? Where the interesting financial records were being kept. I just urge people to look a little deeper at some of this stuff. Yes, there's a lot of crazy stuff out there, but dig deep. It's kind of scary.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, people who aren't, open to it, might check it out now.
There's almost evidence that people are being deliberately freaking dumbed down.
Yeah.
Either what's in the food or what's in the air, chemtrails, what have you. TV is the easiest one, of course. Let's just numb everybody.
Oh yeah.
Put crap on to try and take your mind off it.
Oh yeah.
And then when something's happening, it's like, let's create some sort of false flag distraction to take a certain story out of the news or whatever. And there's a lot of manipulation going on.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, but it's always been like that. But the one thing with the internet is, for better or worse, the information's out there. It's just a question of trying to filter it, which is very difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have from one crazy source somebody say something, and it gets disseminated so wide that, this must be true because all these people are saying, but it's from this one moron that said something. So, it's very hard to track down.
Let's go back for a minute to being an antagonizer, being antagonistic. Could you repeat that story, maybe a couple others, about shows you did at the Moors in New York back in the 80s?
Oh, you know about that, eh?
Yeah.
That's good. We played Lemurs quite a few times. Great rock club. And, the scene was changing. It was getting a lot more hardcore, a lot more thrash. And we were kind of in the middle. We were crazy and wild, but we had a commercial edge to us. So we weren't Poison, but we weren't Slayer. And we got a new drummer, Joe, and the first tour we got offered, we changed agencies and we're working with ICM and say, okay, you guys can go out with Testament. Testament had a hot new album out, a new order, and they were Raven fans and they wanted us to play. So we go out. Hostile. And it was like, wow, this has been a while. This is like going back to the pub days playing for the Punks. So a few things happened. Mark broke a string, top E string going, and some guy in the front row was like, fuck yeah. He grabs the string round his hand, like, ha-ha, I've got you. And my brother goes, really? Wait. It was like sausages flying through the air, guy's hands bleed, screaming. So, well, you're an idiot, you picked that. Some of the girl in the front row looking at Joe, like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And at the end of the set, he had a code, he just stood over her and just went, just coated her head with snot. I mean, when he does that, I mean, it's like, 2 foot of snot coming out. And it was just mayhem. I had my guitar hanging from the rafters, I dropped my pants among the crowd. My brother shouting, we've been doing this since you guys were shit and yellow, go fuck yourselves. So that was it. We riled them up, one way or the other.
That's
And
amazing.
we had other times, like when we were playing with Wasp and Slayer, we were the first band on, and the Slayer fans, obviously, even then, I mean, there was a whole bunch of specky 14-year-old kids, but they were totally obsessed and crazy. And as is now, they don't want to hear the opening band, they don't care. So the first song we had was Overload, which had a little gap about a minute in, and a little guitar bit and then in, but we'd stop and then climb over the barrier, because these were nearly all medium to arena type shows, and just go, okay, who's first? After we've been, stuff thrown at us through the first minute of the show. So there we are, taking on 10,000 people or so. It was ridiculous, but it worked every show. They just go, oh, these guys are fucking nuts. Because again, we're big guys. And most guys in bands are a little. We're big guys. And it was. I think we intimidated them. Had some idiot spitting. It's like, oh, you want to spit? Oh, you're surrounded by people. You can't get away, can you? All right, you ready for it? Here it comes. Loogie, loogie, loogie. That stopped real quick. A lot easier for me to hit them. So we've had little instances like that now and again.
It's great. Band's got to fight back. You guys work hard to get on stage. People should appreciate that. If they're nitpicking the style, the band's,
unless the band's like genuinely awful. If it's just like a case of like, I think these guys suck. Then get in the bar.
Yeah.
I mean, there's most of the guys in bands, they work real hard to do what they do, and you can listen to a band and go, well, I've heard that before, I'm not into it. Give them a break.
Yeah.
You don't have to sit there and watch it.
Yeah.
But to actively throw something at them or try and spoil a performance, that's a shitty human being.
Yeah.
I'd never do that.
Well, I fully support any of your retaliatory, antics. Fully support.
Oh. Yeah, so it's like, you've got to do that. You want to elicit a response, because when we elicit a response from the crowd positively, it builds a positive feedback loop. There's energy transferred backwards and forwards.
Sure.
And when it works right, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Because it's going to see like a football game, but there's no losers.
Right.
Everyone's on the same team. That's the difference. That's what makes it work. And if you have the negative thing like that, it's like, well, you're not into it. Well, let's prod that. Let's see what we can get out of that. I mean, luckily it's been a long time since that happens. We usually, at our stage of the game, we've got a pretty hardcore cult following, so it's good.
Super. What's the last guy? Oh yeah, your favorite Lemmy quote. We didn't get that on camera earlier.
You can't have everything. Where would you put it?
Wise words from a wise man.
Oh yes.
And
I hope he gets well soon. It's pretty sad. I hope he gets well soon.
Yeah. What's next for Raven? What are you guys supporting at the moment? And then we'll let you go back to your performance.
Well, we just put out a DVD called Long Day's Journey. It's actually Rock Until You Drop, A Long Day's Journey. It's a 2-disc set. It's altogether about 4.5 hours long. We could have done the 1 hour Hollywood, blah, blah, blah. This is the story of the band. But we decided to go balls out and put the whole thing in, pretty much everything we got. And it goes from the beginning all the way through, and there's a lot of live footage, bootleg, guerrilla type stuff for the most part. Stuff we've never had out there. Backstage, craziness, in the studio, interviews with people like Lars Ulrich, Dee Snider, people that were involved was like John Zazula, Steve Thompson, the first producer, Michael Wagner, Kevin 131, who did the new record, Chuck Billy, Dave Elfson, blah, 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 lots and lots of people. And it was really interesting to hear their take on the band, because we had it done by a third party and didn't see it till we got it afterwards. It was really cool. People will love it. It's and some of the shorter on the one disc are expanded on the second disc, and there's more crazy stuff on there. So we got that out. We're touring with that. We've got new material we want to start recording probably the end of the year. But before we get to that, this tour, this leg, ends October 2nd. We have a couple of dates to add, and then we're playing with Diamond Head from Vancouver all the way back down into Texas. Add a few dates to that. We get a couple of weeks off, then we go to Europe and we're touring with Girls' School.
Cool.
They're opening for us, which is a nice twist since we opened for them back in '82. They're old friends, good people, so that'll be fun. And then next year, looking for the Far East, looking for South America, trying to get something together with Anvil. It should be great, so see what happens.
John, you and your band are an inspiration to a lot of people, regardless of the style of music you're into. Your longevity is something to be very proud of, as I'm sure you guys are. So I wish you all the best.
Thank you, man.
And 30, 40 more years, let's hope.
That's it. Hey, we're playing better than ever. All we need is more Advil after the shows these days.
You find a lot of drugs in this area, so.
Not them kind of drugs.
Yeah, be
No,
careful.
thanks.
You might get to the next tour stop. A lot of cheap shit around here. So.
No. Strongest thing I'm doing on this tour is coffee. Thank you very much.
Good man. Well, thank you, John.
Hey, thank you.